Hello and welcome to Valuechain News. I am Naomi Oleribi. First, the headlines. Oil belongs to Nigeria, not Niger Delta. Obasanjo to Clark. Nigeria to remain top oil producing country in Africa. Anxiety as strange suit envelopes Yenugwa. Now the news in details. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo yesterday told elder statesman and leader of Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, Chief Edwin Clark, that oil, like the mineral resources in other parts of the country, belong to all Nigerians. Obasanjo was responding to Clark, who recently asserted that the former president neither showed solidarity nor respect for the people of the Niger Delta in the face of the terrible environmental, social and economic devastations they endured to produce the oil on which Nigeria's economy pivots. Clark had in a protest letter alleged that for openly rebuking those advocating resource control for the Niger Delta at the public forum in Abuja, Obasanjo showed open hatred for the region. But Obasanjo, while replying the non-Nigerian, argued that until he could be legally and constitutionally persuaded otherwise, he maintained his position on the resource control question. He argued that there could not be two sovereign entities within a country, claiming the existence of dual sovereignties was what he understood from Clark's position on resource ownership. The former president said all those who purchased crude oil from Nigeria entered into contractual relationship with the country, not the Niger Delta, affirming that the territory of Nigeria remains indivisible, inclusive of the resources found therein. In the face of uncertainties laid by the new Omicron version of the COVID-19, Nigeria may continue her top spot in crude oil production in Africa through the first quarter of the year 2020. Snippets from the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has suggested. This month, she regained the top spot among crude oil producing countries in Africa, with the nation's crude oil production averaging 1.27 million barrels per day in November. Nigeria has the capacity to pump around 2.2 million barrels per day of crude and condensate, but in recent months, its output has been languishing below 1.55 million barrels per day. However, with oil exports accounting for 80% of Nigerians' foreign exchange revenue, the government is determined that there will be an improvement different from the sharp drop in revenue amid a drop in production in the most part of the year. There has been a rising concern among residents of Yenugwa, the Bayelsa state capital, and its environs over the noticeable blanket of black soot across the skyline. The development, according to findings, is largely linked to the upsurge in oil fire and illegal but thriving oil bunkering business in the Niger Delta, of which Bayelsa is in the epicenter. Oil fire is simply a local oil process of heating the crude in fabricated oven to extract petroleum products, while the residual is released into the environment, not minding the implication on the ecosystem. Findings also revealed that the negative practice of setting ablaze crude oil impacted sites in the state by some contractors in the name of cleanup, as well as the burning of seized stolen crude by security operatives, is not environment friendly. The problem is more pronounced in the morning hours when the thick blanket of soot covers the landscape. A disturbed resident, Benjamin Ogbara, recently posted on Facebook pleading with the security agencies and oil and gas surveillance contractors not to set boats laden with illegally refined petroleum products on fire again. It can be deduced that the health, environmental, economic, and social effects of hydrocarbon and black soot-related pollution are far more dangerous to human and the environment, and must be given keen attention and speedy solutions in stopping this looming epidemic from exploding and getting out of proportion and control. Energy Minister Walid Fayyad has launched 2 projects in the country's north to facilitate the flow of natural gas from Egypt. The move aims to improve electricity production and expand the country's tanks to increase oil reserves. The revival of the Arab gas pipeline to deliver Egyptian gas to Lebanon comes as the small country is reeling from a crippling electricity crisis. The pipeline has been out of service in Lebanon since before Syria's 10-year conflict began in 2011. Fayyad said Egypt's technical gas services will begin renovation work on the pipeline inside Lebanon within days, and work should be done in little more than 2 months. Egypt has agreed to supply Lebanon with natural gas to its power plants through Jordan and Syria. Syrian experts have finished work inside the war-torn country. The Syrian government is on the US and Western sanctions for its role in the war, which has left nearly 1 million killed and disappeared and nearly half of the population displaced. Despite the sanctions, the US has supported the resumption of natural gas flow from Egypt to Lebanon via Syria. Fayyad told the press during a tour of an oil facility that US officials who have visited Lebanon said the contract to bring gas from Egypt will not be targeted by sanction because no cash is going from any side to Syria. He added that Egyptian officials are in contact with the Americans to make sure that the contract does not violate the sanctions. Fayyad said about 650 million cubic meters of gas will be brought to Lebanon through the pipeline annually to the Deir Amma power station in the north. He said the amount will lead to the production of 450 megawatts of electricity, adding 2 to 3 hours of electricity supplies in a day. Over 4,000 households in Gomtinaga area were affected throughout Tuesday after a private telecom company laying optical fiber cable damaged the high-pressurized gas pipeline for Green Gas Limited. This was 6 such incidents this month. At the time of this report, officials of the Green Gas Limited claimed that it would take another 3 hours to restore the supply of cooking gas. They said this was the 6th incident this month. An estimate of the damage and loss incurred by the leak of gas will be sent to the telecom company, but more importantly, the negligence on the part of the telecom company had made our customers suffer. Our team is trying to restore the damaged pipeline, he said. According to Green Gas Limited, gas pipelines were damaged from 2nd December to December 17th by telecom service providers expanding their optical fiber services. The Central Bank of Nigeria has said it disbursed 108.65 billion naira to hospitals and pharmaceutical industries in 18 months. A CBN report said this was disclosed at the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting. It said the bank has also cumulatively disbursed the sum of 108.65 billion naira to hospitals and pharmaceutical industries. 54 of the 117 projects funded are for hospital services. The committee was gratified that the funding on the health sector has resulted in the establishment of 2 new cancer centers, over 59 MRI, and more than 42 CT scan centers in Nigeria within the last 18 months. The CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele said recently that medical tourism was putting a huge strain on the country's foreign reserves. Emefiele said the CBN and other banks will support the healthcare sector to reverse the trend. He said medical tourism puts a huge strain on our foreign reserves, and more importantly, for every $1 billion allocated to medical treatment abroad, there is less than $1 billion that could be available for other critical sectors of our economy. Before we end the news, here's a recap of our headlines. Oil belongs to Nigeria, not Niger Delta, Obasanjo to Clark. Nigeria remains top oil-producing country in Africa. Anxiety as strange suit envelopes Yenogwa. And that's the news. My name is Naomi Oleribe. Merry Christmas.